We are back. We are back with more. Best of Opie and Jim Norton.
Ethan Hawke, my God.
Happy New Year.
All right. What's going on, Ethan?
How's everybody doing?
Well, we're panicking.
Why?
Because we think we're coming down with the flu. We don't have any symptoms, so don't worry. I know. See?
Well, that means you're at your peak contagion level.
But my wife's sick, so I'm trying to figure out how I avoid getting the flu.
Love yourself, because this is the year everybody's sick.
Yeah.
It happens, and
You all right with getting the flu, or do you get the flu shot?
I don't get the flu shot, but I think about it every year because one time I got the flu shot, and I think I took the shot when I already
had the flu.
A little bit of the flu.
Yeah.
And I got a 2-week laid me out, stop your life, cannot move, sleeping 20 hours a day, blowing my nose.
So now I'm not getting the flu shot, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel like I might have the start of the flu, even though I have no symptoms, because my wife has the flu. So why would I get the flu shot today? Because it's going to make it worse. Of course.
Wait till your wife passes through it and you didn't get it. Then
get the flu shot.
I do get it sometimes when I'm doing a play.
Yeah.
I get it because it's so... when you shut down a production because you have it just sucks, and it's just irresponsible.
Yeah,
I hate the flu shot scared because what they basically do is give you the flu. Are we on the air?
Yeah.
We're talking on the air about the flu shot.
Oh yeah.
Is that bad? I thought that was very entertaining.
Kind of boring, doesn't it? I mean, who the hell wants to be thinking about the flu?
I don't know if it's boring. I think this is something that everyone talks about and thinks about.
Well.
Right, and to get your 2 cents on it, Ethan Hawke, I think that's pretty cool.
Plus, the listeners care deeply about our health.
Yes,
I know they do.
They need us here every day.
And we care about their health.
Yes, we do.
Please call in. Tell us how you're feeling.
You know what we learned today?
What did we learn?
Donald Trump, he was on about an hour ago.
Yeah.
He's never had the flu, and he doesn't get the flu shot. How about that?
I think he's lying.
Well, that's what we think, too.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to acknowledge that he's weak.
He doesn't want to acknowledge any weakness. And you know what? I think that's weak.
I love it, though.
Yeah. I never had the flu.
It's so entertaining to me. So how was your holidays? You get through it?
Yeah, man.
You have. I know you have kids because I've seen you in the park, but I don't bother you, Ethan Hawke, when you're with your kids. I know which park you hang out in, too. I'm not stalking you. You just happen to go to the same park I go to.
Oh, really?
Your kids are a little older, or our kids probably would be playing with each other. But you still enjoy Christmas and the holidays?
Well, Christmas is a lot more fun when you have kids.
Thank you. I hated it for a long time. I'm back in.
There was that weird period about 18, for me, until I had 18 to 28, where I found it just depressing. I didn't know which parent to go visit. I didn't like buying people presents, and then other people do this elaborate Christmas card, and they do those, and I'd get their Christmas cards and just feel like a loser because I didn't do one.
Right.
And invariably, people would get me something that they thought was really nice and put a lot of thought into and stuff, and I didn't really like it, and that just made me feel bad too.
What did you get that you didn't like? What was something that you knew a lot of thought went into that you were like, ugh?
Oh, almost
everything.
Almost any kind of clothing. People would say, my mother sees, oh, you love cowboy shirts. I'll get you a cowboy shirt. But she gets me like the cowboy shirt from Ross, Dress for Less or something. It doesn't, it's like fake embroidery. It's ironed on. It's not cool at all. But she thinks it's really neat because it's got a picture of John Wayne on the back. But she doesn't realize I don't like John Wayne. And but you have to go, oh, thanks, Mom.
Yeah. But you're an actor, so you could pull it off and make believe you love it.
I'm a good actor because I cannot lie. And so, no, that's the joke.
Yeah.
But people think that, that doesn't help.
I hate making believe you like the stuff you get.
I hate making believe you didn't already read that book.
Right.
Oh, thanks for the Tennessee Williams biography. I already read it. Yeah. Obviously.
See, I throw it right back at them. Yeah, I'll literally throw the gifts back and say, take this shit back where you got it.
Did your mom get you gifts this year?
They bought me some clothes.
Did you throw it in their face, or did you?
No, I thanked them very much, and I figure whatever poor people I give it to are going to enjoy it.
Yeah, nicely done.
Yes, give it to the needy.
Yeah. But I enjoy the fact that my kids, like Christmas, so I'm good. I'm good with that.
My kids like it so much that it's impossible not to be happy.
Right.
They are so elated when Santa comes. They're so touched by how thoughtful Santa is. They're so excited already about what they're going to ask for next year. Mm. We lit a fire. We sat around.
How old are they?
Well, I have 3, 6, 12, and 16.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy ages.
Yeah.
3, 6, 12, and 16.
Yeah.
Good for you. Man.
Boys or girls?
3 girls and 1 boy. The 12-year-old's a boy.
Are the girls at dating age now where you're like starting to get creeped out by the guys that show up? Or
one is. I mean, the 3-year-old and the 6-year-old don't date much.
No. Yeah.
I have a daughter. She's 2. How do you? And I'm already thinking about the dating shit. Give me some advice. Are you all right with this?
You got to be, man. What you want to do
But you're
is...
freaked out a little bit, no?
No, you want to raise a woman that freaks them out.
Good point.
That's what you want. I just want my daughter to have ownership over it. You know, when you act like they need to be protected, you create this idea that they're a victim, and you want them to enjoy their life and enjoy boys and scare the hell out of boys.
Right.
But, you know, a 16-year-old boy is pretty easy to intimidate.
Right.
Yeah, he's worried about a lot of things. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
And you got to raise him not to take any shit, you know? And I think the best way that men can do that is by how you treat women in your life. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the biggest thing you can do.
But as a guy, you know what we're capable of doing. That's what freaks me out.
Well,
having a daughter, I'm like, oh,
we also know what we're capable of, how we think.
True.
And so that's the way that God punishes men. It's just, you know, or teaches them, you know, one way or the other. Because it changes the way you think about women the second when you love a young woman unconditionally, regardless of what she looks like or sounds like or what she's wearing or what, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
Congratulations, by the way, on your nomination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's really important to you.
I think it's nice. No, I enjoyed Boyhood. No, I mean it. It's good.
I still haven't seen Boyhood.
It's really good. And you were nominated. What were you nominated for?
Well,
Best Supporting Actor, I believe.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I've never had a movie nominated for Best Picture since Dead Poets Society, since I was 18 years old. And so for me, what I feel like, if the movie could connect with people in that way, the way that for a movie to be nominated for Best Picture, it means there's a certain amount of critical approval it has to get, and it has to actually connect with people. Mm-hmm. Because I've made movies that I'm really proud of, that I think are really good, that will age well, and blah blah blah, and that I'll stand by. But for whatever reason, they didn't really connect with an audience at the time that they were released. And that always feels a little disappointing. And when you can make a movie that is connecting with people the way that Boyhood is, particularly one that was as independently made, I feel like I'm part of a unseeded team that's going deep into the Final Four, you know, to use a sports analogy.
Right.
So, and I've got to make Boyhood with people I love. So, I love getting acting prizes and accolades. I mean, acting is my life. I've been doing it for 30 years. I've dedicated my life to it. So, if people want to tell me I'm good at it, I'm not going to be disingenuous here, and it means a lot to me.
Right.
But it doesn't feel as good as having the movie work. Whenever you get accolades for acting in a movie that people don't like, it feels, oh, you were great. That movie was stupid.
Right.
You know, it feels much better to be like, when people love that movie.
Right.
What is the thinking then of guys like? I'm always amazed by this. There are guys who like you said will be fake and go like, oh, I don't care. But then you get like Brando or George C. Scott who like legitimately meant it. Like, I don't give a shit about that award, and I don't understand
why. It's our whole culture makes everything a status game. What kind of car do you have? And awards are another part of status. Mm-hmm. And guys like Brando and George C. Scott, Vanessa Redgrave, these are really intelligent people that were allergic to status symbols.
Did she turn one down?
She dedicated hers to Palestinian rights and made hers a political move, which got her in a lot of trouble at the time. Yeah, but it was a bold move, and so I totally understand what. I don't think Brando didn't, or George C. Scott. They wanted to excel at at their profession. It's just when you work with a lot of actors who don't get that. You know, I worked with a lot of actors that are really, really good that are never going to get these prizes because they don't look a certain way or they're not in the right movie. You know, it's a certain.
Well, there's a lot of politics.
There's a lot of politics, and so
you got to work it.
When you break your arm patting yourself on the back about it, you're ignoring the fact that a lot of other people's work went into getting you that prize. And I think that, you know, Brando was always anti-authority. He didn't want to be homecoming king, you know.
Right.
Do you have to go out and lobby at all? Like, is there a certain, like, I know that there's all these meetings with the foreign press and stuff for the Golden Globes. For stuff like this, do you have to go out and like lobby, but you're not lobbying, or do you have to do nothing and the movie people do it?
When I first started acting, you didn't have to do anything. And the more that this thing becomes a machine of, you know, the more the internet takes over, and it's so hard for people every weekend are inundated with a new movie that they have to see. So the idea that a movie could catch on by a word of mouth is more and more difficult. And what it requires is the actors to participate, particularly in a movie. I mean, our movie is being released by IFC, the Independent Film Channel.
Right.
Okay, this is a movie that was made. If the movie gets nominated for Best Picture, for example, it'll be the least lowest budget movie ever, the most fiercely independent movie ever nominated for that prize. So they need people like Patricia Arquette and myself to get out there and sing the song.
Right.
You know, and what I try to do is I try to think about it. You know, it's a luxury. This is the kind of art I really want to make with my life. You know, I mean, getting to make a movie that is as groundbreaking as this movie is, and getting to be a part of something that is, it's a substantive movie. Whether you like it or not, it's an interesting, original movie.
Shot over 12 years,
That's
like once a year for 12 years, you guys get together, right?
So basically, if they didn't have awards, I mean, if producers didn't have awards, they would never make anything but movies that Transformers.
Right.
You know, money is the bottom line of everything, except this subtle part of people that always want to win awards. Producers too, you know, that's just lame brain actors. You know, I mean, producers want to, and so I think I try to look at it like that. Like, anytime Boyhood wins some kind of prize or is accolade or praised in some way, it's an advertisement for independent film. You know?
Right.
That's how I try. That's the only way you can look at it without making yourself crazy.
Right. One question about Boyhood. So you film it over 12 years. How did you get everyone together every year to do their thing? Because you guys are all extremely successful actors, and you have other.
It was a logistical nightmare.
It was, right?
But not for me. I mean, for 12 years.
But they sit you down 12 years ago, let's say, and they go, this is what we're going to do. So you need to just find time. Do they tell you, like, every March we're going to do this? Or?
Well, we couldn't do it every March. It couldn't be a predictable time period because for those who have seen the movie,
I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
Trust me. I just don't get to see as much as I'd like.
Of course. If it was shot every March, it would be the same season and the idea of the movie is you want to be with these people it's first grade through 12th grade. It just follows the grid that every American gets put on. And so you don't want it to be seasonal. It's like same time next year. It wants to feel, so sometimes it was 8 months, sometimes it was 4, sometimes it was 13, sometimes it was always, the number was always changing so that it wasn't seasonal.
Right.
So we just get off that pattern.
Did you know it would be 12 years, or they didn't tell you exactly?
Well, you act like there's this that's some kind of corporate thing. No, the director,
that
was always the idea.
12.
12, first grade through 12th grade. That's the only time all of us as Americans are on the same pattern. So it has a natural beginning, middle, and end. You know, if you tried to do just any random number of years, it doesn't have you go into school first grade and you graduate. That's the story, right? And how do all of us change? How do your parents change? Who was your dad when he took you to that first grade? And who was he when you graduated high school? Was he different? Was he the same? What parts of your mother were the same? What happened to your mom in that's the idea of the movie. So yes, we always knew it was 12 years.
That would be fascinating because I can't even answer that question. My dad taking me to first grade, and when I was a senior, I wouldn't know the difference really. You know what I mean?
Well,
I was too young to really understand what he was all about yet.
Well, thinking about that and meditating on it and trying to make a movie about that.
No, that's why I think it's a cool concept.
That's yeah. And that's why I don't begrudge any bit of, pomp and circumstance, glad handing I have to do to promote the movie.
Right.
I try to. It was a completely unique experience. I mean, for 12 years, every time I took a job, I had to call Richard Linklater and say, hey, I'm starting rehearsals on Coast of Utopia on September 8th. If you need me, here are my days off. If you and he'd say, okay, wait a second. Is there any way, can you call Lincoln Center? Is there any way you can get a long weekend because the Harry Potter book signing is going to be on October, and I would call the head of Lincoln Center and say, hey, is there any way we could maybe not have a show on the 16th because I could fly to Austin? Well, let me see. Let me talk to the...
Wow.
I've been doing this. I've been doing this for over a decade. When Patricia Arquette, she was on a huge TV show, but when she signed to do the pilot, she said, "Listen, here's the deal. I'll do your pilot, but once a year, I'm going to have a conflict, and you're going to have to make room for me." And so, in her contract was when Boyhood wanted to shoot, she'd get the time off. And that was the kind of dedication that she put in.
Right.
And we all had to do it.
And the director understood, look, I can only grab you guys for a short amount of time. We can't just hang out for a few weeks on set.
And look, we didn't have the money to hang out for a few weeks on set. The idea of the movie was such that it was just these little vignettes of life.
Right.
So he didn't need us for more than, we'd come down there, we'd rehearse 2 days and shoot for 4. We'd come down, rehearse for 3 days, shoot for 3. It was always these little 4-6 day windows. One time it was 8, but it was never much.
Right. And you had to keep going back into character. Was that tough?
It wasn't tough because I knew the character I was playing.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was tough in that I'd never done that before.
Right.
Taking a year off from a character and then come back and play a new scene.
Right.
I mean, lots, you hear about these Russian actors, they'd work on a play for 12 years or something, but it would be the same play.
Right.
We were always reconceiving how the people were changing based on, you couldn't write this script beforehand because if I was going to have a monologue with my daughter about Lady Gaga, we couldn't have written that in 2002 when we started filming. Lady Gaga wasn't an known entity, or all the, or we filmed scenes about the Obama-McCain campaign when we didn't know who would win. It's a very interesting,
fascinating.
Making a period movie in the past that was going, you know what I mean? It was very.
That's wild.
Or making what would become a period.
Yeah, yeah.
And you met Clinton, which was you told a story, I think, in the Daily Beast. Had you met him before or no?
I'd met him in the way that one meet. I went once when I was younger to a rally that he spoke at that had 500 people at it, of which everybody stood in the line. You had to shake his hand. Okay. I mean, if that, I hadn't met him. Yeah. But I think what you're referencing is I talked about meeting him in line at the bathroom when I went to see a play. Yeah.
He was. They made him wait online.
Actually, the truth is, we were waiting for our wives.
Oh, okay.
He obviously, I think the Secret Security or whatever you call those guys, Secret Service would have ushered him in. Yeah, we were both waiting for our wives who were, in the long line.
So Hillary Clinton had to wait?
Yeah, everybody's got to wait to pee.
She probably didn't have to, but she wants to run for office, so she doesn't want to piss anybody off by cutting the line.
Yeah, you remember what happened to George Bush Sr. when, you remember that thing? I always think what cost him the election is that he'd never seen those scanners at the grocery store. And do you remember this? There was this weird clip on the news where George Bush was trying to seem like one of the people. So he went to a grocery store, but he'd never seen these scanners and he acted like it was
the greatest thing ever.
Whoa. It was like, hey, dude, this has been around for a long time. You obviously haven't been to a grocery store
this
in
isn't
ages.
Brand new, sir.
Yeah.
You think that really messed up his election a little bit?
I know it did.
Wow.
It made him seem totally out of date.
Right. Well, I think most of those guys are, don't you think?
How could they be? Yeah. I mean, as if he's supposed to go to the grocery store? Come on.
Right.
Obama sat in traffic voluntarily recently, like 2 winters ago, because the helicopter couldn't fly in D.C. So they actually just drove in rush hour traffic, and it became a story. That's how out of touch they are. Is once the president sits in traffic once, and it's like,
it's amazing how they travel. I've seen the motorcade a few times. It is a sight to see.
I know.
What did he say to you? Or what did you say to him?
Clinton?
Yeah.
Oh, the point of that story was he was a fan of the film Gattaca, and it's a science fiction movie I made a long time ago that, it's one of those movies they're talking about that when it came out, nobody really cared about it or noticed it. And over the 15 or so years it's been, the movie has found its audience. And it's a little bit like this film that's coming out right now, Predestination.
Oh, yeah, we really should start talking about this.
Which is a sci-fi movie, but Gattaca, it was just a prescient film about the future, and Predestination, while very different. Predestination is based on a Robert Heinlein short story, and it's just the best sci-fi to me always has kind of a punk rock edge to it, which is most movies, if they really make you think about grand ideas, like maybe we're all one big soul, maybe there is no masculine, feminine, maybe there is, like weird philosophical ideas.
Right.
If you talk about them, it sounds like you're a high school teacher, or it sounds like you have you're some kind of blowhard, pretentious person. But if you talk about them in science fiction, they become wild, funny, interesting, thought-provoking, and in the best science fiction, Robert Heinlein, Philip K. Dick, Kurt Vonnegut, the best thinkers like that, really. I remember when I went to see Brazil. You ever see that movie? It just fucks with your head, this movie. And Predestination is in the same lineage as that film.
Very cool.
So this is about time travel?
I play a temporal agent, which is in the future.
Anything to do with the brain, temporal, or no?
It's a time wake where these cops can travel through time a little bit. It's difficult, and there's this temporal wake you can ride this time. And so my character is chasing a terrorist. He's trying to going back in time to prevent a terrorist.
Kind of like a 9/11
exactly.
type situation?
He's trying to, exactly like that.
Okay.
And as he travels back in time, the guy is also traveling in time. So he realizes that perhaps this terrorist was a temporal agent himself. And then he starts to think maybe it might be his father. And then he starts to think it might be him. And then it gets weird from there.
Wow.
It's really,
great.
really, really cool movie.
What I don't understand, it's a low budget, right? How do you make a sci-fi low budget movie?
Well, with some incredibly smart directors.
Okay.
Where the movie's, what's radical about the movie is the ideas. I did this movie with these directors called Daybreakers, and they happen to be kind of computer geeks. And so they spend a long time working on the movie digitally and working, they're smart guys. And what George Lucas pays $1 million for, they kind of figured out how to do by themselves.
A lot cheaper.
Yeah. And this is the future of filmmaking. More and more, you're going to have kids in their basement making wicked cool effects and cool movies with radical ideas because they won't need. See, as soon as you accept $50 million, $70 million from,
whoever,
Paramount Pictures or whatever, well, then you have to please their CEO and their whole board of directors, and then you can't have radical ideas and make a weird movie. See, Predestination's not for everybody. It's a punk rock weird movie. If you're a person who's actually interested in science fiction movies, you'll love this movie. And Sarah Snook gives a performance that is off the chains. I mean, it's really one of my, I've been a part of some great performances when working with Denzel Washington or Philip Seymour Hoffman or Jude Law. There's a few performances that I've worked with people on where I'm like, wow. And Sarah's given one of the best performances I've ever been.
No kidding.
Yeah, she's amazing. It's a transgender performance.
Right.
She's playing a person.
I'll definitely like that.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. And anyway, so I love science fiction, and to bring it back to the Bill Clinton thing, it was obvious. Clinton, whether like him or don't like him, the guy has a brain on him. And Gattaca was a very prescient movie about the politics of being able to control our genetic engineering.
Right.
What happens when you can, let's say you could get rid of ADD. Mm-hmm. Well, you get rid of all these special people, of all these special ideas because of a supposed disadvantage. How so often, my daughter, for example, has struggled with dyslexia her whole life. But, it's what makes her such a interesting and amazing thinker, that she doesn't think like everybody else. And this kid is amazingly brilliant, because of what this thing when she was in second grade, people said was a disadvantage.
Right.
Didn't they say dyslexia too is a sign of really high intelligence? There was something done on that where it's almost like your brain is working so fast that you kind of trip over yourself because your brain is 5 steps ahead
Einstein
of where you
was
should be.
dyslexic. John Lennon was dyslexic. I mean, there's a lot of case to be made. But you could make the case to be made that every disadvantage creates, you know, and every
advantage, right?
Yeah, you know, and the reverse is true too.
So you really helping society by, you know, wiping out some of these things.
And that's what the idea of Gattaca is about.
Sure.
And these guys who made Predestination were big Gattaca fans. I think it's part of why they wanted to hire me.
Great.
Well, it comes out Friday, it's in theaters Friday, so.
Right. There was something in there when, fuck. Brain just, oh, we have to wrap? We have to wrap. You got a busy day, they're saying. Eric, he's got to go?
Yeah, in about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, Predestination is in theaters
Oh,
Friday.
I know what it was. I'm sorry.
What?
The Sony hack.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I've gotten myself in a lot of trouble about my thoughts on it. There's many different, you know, this is the world we live in, and the movie industry is following the record industry. I mean, if you remember what happened to
Napster and
yeah, distribution. I mean, here's the thing: is if movies are all being hacked and nobody's paying for them, then it's going to get harder and harder for people to make serious movies, because the lower budget movies are the ones that are going to pay, because people are always going to pay to see The Hobbit, or they're always going to pay to see The Road War, whatever the big movies are coming in, blockbuster stuff. But when you can, art films are the ones that are going to suffer the same way that the independent rock scene has suffered. It's the smaller artists that took the beating. It's now so hard for young bands to get a following because they can't get a record deal. I mean, and I don't have any mind. You know, I don't have anything intelligent to say about it. I'm as confused about everybody else. The weird thing for me is the more the movie's hacked, the more people are on. It's been a great thing for Predestination because people who haven't seen the movie have been all over the internet writing about how much they love it, which has served as kind of an added, you know, for me, I don't make any money off it anyway. So I'm just happy people are seeing it, enjoying the movie. But I'm smart enough to know that long term this is a disaster.
Right.
And the movie industry needs to be smart and figure this out. And I don't know what the answer is.
Well, they should start by allowing us to see these new movies in our house. Make it as convenient as possible. Pay a little extra.
And here's what's happening. What's happening is this gets into a whole corporate war, because I agree with you. What the answer really is, the future is The Hobbit's going to come out on VOD the same day it's released, and the same day it's going to be available on DVD and Blu-ray. It's all going to be one-stop deal. And if you want to go to the movie theaters to see it, you can. And if you want to watch it on your computer, you can. And that's the future. But places like Cineplex, Odeon, and places like, you know, there's all these revenue sources that are figuring out, hey, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to lose money?
Well, they're screwed in the end. It's just a matter of time. I mean, if you're sitting at home and you got your laptop and you could get a movie that's coming out, let's say Friday, but it's right there ready for you now. How do you not?
Unless it's 3D or The Hobbit or something, you got to see on a giant screen.
But that's why they just got to live in the present, and this is where it's at.
But the movie industry should understand and go, all right, let's make it available for home use as well.
You can make the same thing to be made about the oil industry or whatever. People are so hesitant to let go and accept where the world is going.
New technology. Yeah, you make a great point about bands. I mean, bands like U2 and the Stones, they don't.
It's fine with them
because they make so much money touring. But the little guys, they're not making enough money where they can actually continue as a band,
and they can't even continue touring without a little radio play, and they're not getting a little. I mean, you know, it's that industry hasn't found its new identity in the future, and the same thing is someday in the future, it'll be easier to make independent movies and make money off them again. Right now, it's really hard. When I was younger, starting out, you could actually make a little independent movie, and it could make a little bit of money and be fine. But right now, the competition, the noise is so intense that those movies aren't getting made. You can make an independent movie, but you don't get paid to make it. And, you know, and it doesn't get distributed. And, you know, that's the success. The weird thing about Boyhood is just when I thought it was impossible to operate to be successful outside the system, it's proved again that it is possible.
Right.
You can, if you're dedicated, the dream is possible, you know. So
very nice. With that, they're saying you definitely have to go.
Okay, man.
Ethan Hawke, his new movie is Predestination. It's going to be in theaters this Friday.
Okay. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you, man.
We'll have you
very
next
much.
time.
Right.
Ethan Hawke, everyone.
We'll be back with more of the best of Opie and Jim Norton. We are back with more best of Opie and Jim Norton.
During the break, man, I am so flattered. Patton Oswalt talked about two things.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of interviews for the book, and he's been listening to or watching and listening to YouTube clips of this show to get him through some of the press he's been dealing
a lot
with.
of the press I'm doing is, can you write something for us? Can
Right.
you email interviews and stuff?
Yeah.
And I want to be detailed, so I have now listened to the Joe Piscopo trilogy. Opie and Anthony, Joe Piscopo trilogy. That's a 4-hour
Yes.
YouTube thing. I've listened to it 3 times. That is my...
That's 12 hours.
That's the wire of awful, like of just amazingly hilarious douchey radio,
Yeah.
of you guys discovering Joe Piscopo's Showtime special. And there's a moment, it's the 450 mark. That's how well I know this thing, where you guys are listening to the promo for his Club Piscopo thing, and he's singing Mac the Knife and New York, although he's going NJ. Remember? It's all about New Jersey. Come on.
Of course it is.
And so at one point when he's doing Mac the Knife and he's singing it normally, and then he goes, what if this was sung by Rodney Dangerfield? And Jim says, and he says it in a very specific way, he goes, oh no! But he's not saying, oh no, like, oh God, this sucks, or this is, because this is the most insulting part, by the way, if you're Joe Piscopo, because way worse than you guys going, this is stupid, this is so douchey. Jim is genuinely concerned. That's what's so insulting. Right. He has the tone of a middle-aged woman that's just watched a baby crawl out into traffic. Right. And like, no, we got to stop this. No. Right. So that's what's so brutal. Like, he's reacting like this kid. We have to do something. Right. Someone has to do something.
We have to find a time machine and go back and make him not do that.
It's like for a second, he stops making fun of him. I'm talking about the Joe Piscopo thing.
I was listening.
And gets genuinely like, we have to do something. We can't just...
Right.
He's acting like he's the one guy while Kitty Genovese is being killed. Like, we've got to do something, people. Why are we just sitting here? Like, he's almost angry at you and Ant for not doing anything to help this poor man.
Right.
I don't remember the moment, but I know the emotion of what you mean. Like, it's just
it was too late at that point. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and you're the one that as you're watching it, and you get it's an amazing character study where. Ant is just all in, like, screw this is douchey. And you are discovering it for the first time. And you are the comedian who, this is really awful, but I kind of sympathize. I can only make fun of this so far because I've had sets like this, and I can imagine my career maybe doing this. If everything goes wrong for me, I could. So there's this, like, I want to laugh. And you're the one that keeps saying, and it comes up a lot in the 4 hours, there's just this laugh, and then it's, poor Joe.
Right.
Like, he just can't.
But the difference is when you guys bomb or try something that doesn't work, you acknowledge and go, oh, fuck, okay.
Right.
He probably has done that bit 200 times. He's probably went to the Dangerfield 200 times.
There's those moments where he literally will say some joke like, I made this movie Dead Heat, and that's what it did at the box office. And, and then he just goes, but so anyway. Like, you hear him doing it, and at that point, all of you, the fun stops at that point because all of you are literally going, "Oh God, no,
started to hurt.
Joe, please!"
Yes.
And but the moment it's at the 450 mark where Jim goes, "Oh no!" is amazing.
Can we find that real fast,
We have
maybe?
to stop this.
I got to find this real fast.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, we finally put that on the Opie and Anthony podcast, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it's not the 4-hour version?
The 4-hour version.
It is, but it's all chopped down. Like, no commercials, no
and
anything.
I'll play it, and I'll have it go in and out. Like, there are parts I'll turn up, and then when I got to write, I'll have it low so I can still hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear the stuff going on. It's just, it's
one of my favorites.
It's an epic.
It's one
amazing.
of my favorite radio shows we did in the last, I don't know, at least 5 years. That is probably the number one bit. We're on iTunes and all that with our Opie and Anthony podcast.
Yeah.
We put up the Piscopo thing a few weeks ago, finally, right?
Oh, guys.
You really got to check it out.
Listen to this moment when Jim realized,
It's like scarlet billows.
Oh, you got to go back a little bit.
Go back, Sam. Stop ruining it.
Okay.
From me, it's just
Here we go.
I'm Dix Bentley. How long are you going to do it all day?
Who
You're
enjoys
going to do it all
that?
day.
Who enjoys
And then he was talking about, he's like, my mom,
Where's this clip?
boy, she wanted me to play the piano.
Okay, wait a second.
And she wanted me to play music like this. And then he gets behind the piano, and he starts playing like piano.
Well, where's that clip? That's the one we want to play today.
Oh, fuck yeah. That was on Showtime, though.
Oh,
it was a Showtime
thing.
special. But he stopped going from an impersonation to act.
Oh no.
He's genuinely concerned. He's not.
I love that. I love you picked up on that.
At that moment,
It's so subtle,
it's
but
not
says
funny
a
for
lot.
Jim anymore. It's that we got it, guys. No, we may have gone too far. This guy's in
I'm
trouble.
watching a man about to humiliate himself for real.
You're a middle-aged woman watching a baby crawl into traffic.
Does he still take our phone calls? Why don't we call him and see what he's doing today?
I think he's doing radio now.
Is he? Well, all right, let's do a simulcast. Get him some fucking people.
Yeah, that was what I found so
Try
uncomfortable.
calling.
It was the little chit chat in between.
Yes.
Like, you guys don't mind if I do this, do you?
Right.
Like this little pandering to the audience. Like, you don't need to do that.
Right. Well,
And the shadow on the wall really enraged me. His lighting people should be executed.
well, there's that other moment where you say, anytime a performer asks people to stay with me on this, you know something awful's coming, and then you go, the only time I've ever done that was when I was doing an animal fucking bit. Like, don't judge. So you're going, you're allowed to say that if you're going to talk about fucking animals, but you can't do it if you're going to sing a song to your babysitter.
Right.
Oh,
Like you're
God,
not allowed to do.
yeah.
Remember that? So there was that. I just love that was your distinction as a comedian of, oh no, animal fucking, yeah, that you got to stay with me. I've gone far enough, but no, he did not go. I'm sorry. I just.
Fine.
I haven't heard any
I
of
don't
that.
mean to be.
I love
like,
that
come
Patton
off-
calls it the Piscopo trilogy.
Well, yeah.
and it's now on our podcast. If you go to iTunes and stuff, a great.
It is the Lord.
Great time to plug our podcast.
It's the Lord of the Rings of douchiness.
Oh, thank you.
It
Thank
is an epic. It's a fucking epic.
And then you also said during the break that you're a huge obsessed fan of Jocktober too.
yes, I think I've listened to. I've gone through
You're
all
a big
of the
star. You
Jocktober
shouldn't
ones
be obsessed with Jocktober.
because it's so. I mean, it's this fascinating world. Like I'm always amazed because I guess it's because I listen to so many podcasts and so much satellite radio that I am amazed when I see. And by the way, there are a lot of good terrestrial radio shows, but when you
Absolutely.
still see stuff like that going on, and you're amazed at that, like, how is that still
I don't know
happening? Who's listening to that?
I don't know. Well, I mean, they hire these people, and they, for the most part, they give them a very good, nice salary,
Yeah.
and then they throw all the stuff at them that what they're supposed to do instead of saying, "Hey, you're creative radio people. Try to come up with your own stuff."
Yeah, I remember there was a show I used to do back in, and you guys used to make fun of these guys, but I kind of liked them.
Oh no,
no.
John and Jeff?
No, I don't know. Don and Mike back in D.C.
We're okay with them now.
And they would make fun of, they would openly on the air, they were given this big 3-ring notebook called the Electric Weenie, and it was full of funny things for DJs to do, like suggestions, and the manager was like, I want you to do stuff out of this thing. And they would openly read the stuff and go,
Right.
okay, here's what they want us to. This is there was a thing called the donut toss, where the DJs go on the roof of the station and people drive by with buckets, and you're supposed to throw donuts and bring the listeners. It was literally it was like the most humiliating, like treating the DJs like animals and the listeners like animals. It was all the stunt boys, and
I gotta tell you, I mean, Don and Mike were not bad radio guys whatsoever.
Yeah.
The problem was that they threw us together to battle, basically, because they gave us their slot in Washington, because it was part of.
did.
And they took middays because they wanted to be on in New York, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a whole thing, and then they were kind of angry at us because we took their spot. It was and then it just turned into a huge radio battle. But if I was being completely honest, I never thought they were hacks or anything like that.
And they were the first people I remember on the radio when I was growing up in DC, because they were on
JFK?
That was later. There was another morning show they had. They were the first radio guys I ever remember hearing where they would get on the air and be upset. Or just WAVA?
Out of Virginia, yeah.
Out of Virginia. They would be on there and be upset and go, I'm having a crappy day.
Right.
This job sucks. I'm yelling at them. Like, I'm like, oh, and that made me actually happier. Like, what made me tense and unhappy were these guys going, we're having the 6 a.m. party. Like, you're not having a fucking party. It's Thursday morning. This is awful. Yeah. So when I was going to school and driving to school and having a guy going, I'm gonna kill the manager. Right. My boss is an idiot. I'm angry at you. I yelled at my wife last night. And that actually made me, oh, hey.
Some real talk.
And we're getting through the day now. And they're trying to make that funny.
So I remember during the Dynamite days, Attention at WNEW, when they were coming up once in a while doing the midday show, we were going in at 3 o'clock, and I remember we had a big war with them. We couldn't even speak to them. But I remember feeling really... Don Geronimo one time walked out of the studio, and as he walked out, he tripped, and he fell right on his face.
in
front of me. And he was a heavy guy. And then he jumped up, and he looked all sheepish. And I felt really, it was the one moment in that time where I just felt like, I was like, you all right? He's like, yeah. And it was like a nice moment between us in the middle of all, and then we started, but I just remember feeling really bad for him when he fell that one time, like, oh, that would suck. In front of people who hate you.
In different circumstances, I think we actually would have really got along.
Made love.
Well, what's weird,
but we were thrown together in this weird fucking world.
It just was weird because I heard you guys on earlier shows going after them. I'm like, they're the only guys I know that would also love like a Jocktober thing, because all they would do, even then they would play tapes of not of bad radio shows, but of guys that were trying to get on. There was this guy they were called The Maze. He called himself The Maze, and he would send in these tapes trying to become and he was basically autistic. So he would make these amazing tapes of like the show he wanted to do, of just incredible music behind him and sound effects. And just, hello, I am the Maze. I came out of my mother's womb. I had a tuxedo on, holding a drink, saying I'm ready to party. But they weren't even making fun of him. Like, this is actually way more exciting than it's going, hey, we're having a big old party. Like, this is way more interesting.
Pat, and I've said it for years. I would throw all those guys on a radio station and just not even give them a script or anything. Just turn the mics on.
Let's see what happens.
I think it would be amazing, but no one has the balls to do that.
No, it's so frustrating too, and they don't know why terrestrial radio is dying, and that's if you would let it go and let these guys do what they want to do, it would, people are going, did you hear what the hell happened yesterday?
Yes. Yeah. We did Jocktober yesterday. You missed it by a day.
God, and I was on a plane all day. That's
I keep forgetting that you want to actually do a Jocktober with us.
I'm going to try next year to be here in October and do it, because
we'll do it whatever. I told Sam yesterday it went so well we should do one like once every other month or something.
Okay,
just throw it in there.
Next time I'm in, I'll let you guys know way ahead of time. I would love to do Jocktober.
We'll go to some of our favorites.
We did Todd yesterday. He has a new co-host. You know Scott and Todd? Scott
He told me the whole story. The Scott and Todd ones are also fascinating because it's a whole story of the backstory of Scott, and then Todd, who you knew, but he made this move, and then that did, and it's amazing. And you pick apart. It's like listening to two psychiatrists, like doing an evaluation on a couple of patients. Like, okay, here's what's happening here.
Right.
You see how Todd just cut him off. Todd hates him. He's not listening anymore. Scott realizes he's being hated, so now he's trying. Like, you see all the little power plays going on. It's as good as The Wire or Deadwood. As far as watching characters go at each other, it's amazing.
Well, that's an amazing story because everyone thought Scott Shannon was done. He's a big radio legend. Todd's pushing him out the door because he's wanted the show for himself, and then they wish him luck in such a fucking passive-aggressive way, like, well, good luck, and you're invited back here anytime, Scott.
Didn't he say he'll be on CBS now, the oldies, but that's his wheelhouse?
That's his wheelhouse. And then Todd goes and says, well, now it's time to reinvent radio. Not just his show or himself. He goes, it's time to reinvent radio. So you fast forward, Scott Shannon goes to CBS FM and sounds way better than he ever did it with Todd, and is kicking ass. I think he's in second place now in mornings or something like that. He's in second place, and Todd, who is supposed to reinvent radio, the ratings dropped, and he's in like 18th, 20th place for New York.
He's the wheelchair lady in the marathon. Like there's a police car illuminating.
Right.
That'd be like Daryl Hall's like, I got to go away from John Oates, and then John Oates just blows up so huge.
You know, I got a couple things I want to do for you. You got to play the Scott Shannon stuff too. Then we become friends with Scott Shannon after all. Yes, after all.
Wait a minute. After all the stuff you were.
Now we love the guy.
I want to see the boat movie.
Not only are we friends, he called the show.
I want to see the boat movie.
He sent me an old photo of Kiss.
Yeah.
He emailed me an interview we did with Paul Stanley. Like he's great. Yeah, Scott's great. I've done his show.
He called our show and killed for 10 straight minutes. Killed.
No kidding.
Killed. And then
I want to do his show now.
Then he voiced Jocktober for us. He was the official voice for Jocktober.
See, that's okay. That's the other thing too about Jocktober, which is so brilliant. Any of these guys that you made, like, the whole oh my God, who was Maxwell in Cleveland? That guy.
Oh God,
he's got Benjamin Bornstein. He's also got another name.
And Punt.
Well, here's the thing. If they would just acknowledge, just like I do all the time, when you do something dumb and start acknowledging that, oh, this is lame what they're making me do, and start fighting it, then you're great. Like you're great. So the fact that Scott Shannon is now owning it, going, oh no, I'll be the goddamn voice of Jocktober. It's like there you go.
He owned it.
You know.
But then, you have the intro. Listen to this.
I got to hear this.
I got to play it for Patton today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again.
This isn't funny.
Time to travel the country and explore what radio has become. A barren wasteland of holes, acts, fugitives, and funsters.
That's so bad.
Wow. Yes, we are celebrating all the 2 for Tuesday playing, stunt boy having, fake prank call making, parody song singing, phony laughing, prep burger loving, broadcasting boobs from all across the USA. So children, strap in and welcome to Jocktober.
How great is that?
Oh, that's the best.
And he did all that stuff. He did all that stuff.
The Benjamin Bornstein thing, the part that made me kind of sad. Again, that was also amazing. Just call yourself Benjamin Bornstein and just if you have a douchey name, be cool and then make that name cool.
Right.
Like, everyone that's ever been cool in history didn't start out with a cool name. They just owned it and then made that name suddenly cool. But one of his radio names, this one I kind of felt bad for him. Because as a fat geek, I understand this impulse. One of his radio names was Max Logan. Oh. And what I realized was, he took it's Mad Max and then Wolverine's name in the comics, his name is Logan. So he was like, what are the two? So that's like the uncoolest guy thinking, what's the two coolest names?
Yeah, this is ferocity squared.
Yeah, and so I'll just put those together and,
yeah.
I'll be my radio name, let me think for a second. It's going to be Snake Fury. Yeah. You're like, God, don't.
What was the other one he used? He used another one, too. There was another, we looked it up in Chicago. Yeah. We have I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I don't want to see the guy fired.
When I saw that it was Max Logan.
We left him alone.
Yeah, but I also felt bad.
We move on eventually.
Yeah, he stopped fucking with us, and he was unreasonable to fuck with us because we really hadn't done anything to him. It wasn't like we never started anything with him, and he was just kind of coming after us saying, I'm not funny. And so it's like, what do you want us to do? Not respond?
I'm saying I've done shit like that when I was in my teens, like trying to think of what's a cool name.
Right.
How do I
make myself cool?
No, just look, Patton Oswalt's a shitty name. Just try to make that cool. Work with what you got. That'll be way cooler than if you try to go, I'm gonna be Clint Stallone. No, you're not.
The other thing we could play for you, we played it yesterday.
I don't want to make you repeat stuff. I will listen to it.
No, because I love the reaction. This is fun for me. I'm not even thinking of the listeners at this point. We got to replay.
We could really say that any day of the week.
We got to play for Patton the big relaunch of Todd again.
Oh. Can I hear that?
You mean the original from a year ago?
Yeah. So
it's uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable.
This is Todd by himself. Like, this is a new thing.
Todd gets his way and kicks Scott out the door and just assumes Scott is now going to fail or retire or whatever.
Right.
And Scott turns around and just becomes massive. But before he became massive, no one knew that was happening. Todd is like, all right, now it's my show. It's time to make my statement. And this is what he did.
Oh, God, please.
It's good.
Is this a cell phone
This
ad?
radio station has been home to some of the greatest broadcasts in the history of our industry. The ghosts of legends walk these hallowed halls.
What is he? No. This is what you play. No, this is what you play when someone's died. This is
We're about to.
I know. Holy shit! How does that get you pumped to listen to the radio?
You haven't heard anything yet.
It's dramatic.
Jesus Christ.
Jimmy's face.
And again,
You're having the same reaction Jimmy did. Like, no, don't do this to yourself.
But no. But you can do this. Okay, when you guys, when you used to open the show and you would play Ennio Morricone's "The Ecstasy of Gold" from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly,
right?
It was hilarious because you were doing it as a joke, we're going to play the most epic music we can find, and then follow it with hey, fuck off. There's no turn here.
I think you're the first person that got that.
Oh, that was amazing.
But no one else ever said it.
You're
that
doing
way.
this huge epic.
Thank
Here
you.
we go, and then it would just cut to here's Opie and Anthony, and then you'd do the thing from
we would
Mondo
start by
Topless.
saying how miserable we are or something. Thank you.
And then you'd play the "Let's enough of this palaver. Let's get the
Thank you.
They just went from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly to Mondo Topless.
Right.
They're totally making fun of themselves.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
You got it.
please, I got to hear
no
more
one
of
has
this.
ever said it that way.
Jesus.
All right, go ahead.
This radio station has been home to some of the greatest broadcasts in the history of our industry. The ghosts of legends walk these hallowed halls.
So, okay, dead people. So now he's mentioned the people have died. Here we go, guys. Rock and roll.
You're so uncomfortable.
Jesus.
There
Keep
were
going.
legends that walked that hall, really. Good broadcasters, certainly.
I know.
A few good broadcasters that had
Guys-
a nice career for themselves. There weren't any real over-the-top
How
legends
about
over there.
There were guys that talked into mics and then they retired and their bodies shut down.
Nah, it's more than that.
These guys.
Oh, wait till you hear.
Here we go. Come on.
The ghosts of legends walk these hallowed halls, and the whispers of greatness can be heard at every sunrise.
Wait, stop.
Every sunrise.
Also, that's a horrible thing. That their ghosts don't want to be stuck at the fucking radio station. They want to be up, wandering the heavens or the universe.
Or at least
No.
stuck in the Caribbean or something.
Yeah, exactly. No, these guys are near the coffee machine.
Right.
The one toilet that doesn't quite flush. That's where the ghosts of legends are.
I couldn't even name a few of the legends of PLJ. I really couldn't.
Jim Kerr, Pat St. John.
Who cares?
But I guarantee you, they don't want to be there. They don't want to be haunting that fucking
No,
place.
Pat St. John's a great DJ.
Oh, good for
Rocky
Pat.
Allen.
Rocky Allen.
Here's what he did. Here's
sure.
another record. Dumb voice. Fuck all those guys. So tired of old radio guys. Radio, fucking all they do is make up a fake voice, fake personality. Here's a song. Fuck you.
Play more. I got to hear more of this.
Talking over the fucking beginning of the music. They always did that shit.
Ramping to post is the most evil thing.
Ramping to post.
I want to
arrogant.
hear the opening of Gimme Shelter. Don't talk until he starts singing. Sorry, go ahead.
As a radio guy that had to do that for many
course you
years,
had to.
You had how many seconds it was, so I'll set for you.
I did Mike O'Mara's podcast, and we did a contest who could ramp to post, and he is frighteningly good.
He's good,
and he did it in the douchiest way he possibly
Can
could.
he do it cold or
Absolutely. No, the guy, he never knew what song the guy was going to play. He would just hit it, and he would do it, and he would not only do it perfectly, he would do the douchiest, and it was hilarious, but I was like, what a horrible thing to be great at. He goes, I know, it's awful.
It's one of his podcasts?
Yeah, the Mike O'Mara podcast. There's the one that I'm the guest on.
Oh, the Mike O'Mara podcast.
Mike O'Mara
I'm
has a
sorry. I
podcast.
thought you were. Wow, I was thinking Mark Maron that whole fucking time. I'm sorry.
No,
Mike
no.
O'Mara. Okay, yeah.
No,
From Don and Mike.
Mark would never talk over the instrumental
Yeah, that's why
opening,
I'm
and then
surprised
he
by
would
that.
be
Or
angry
a
at
Mark
that.
you
No.
claim to be frenemies with in the book.
We are frenemies. We are always. Oh, we're always at each other's throats.
All right, let's get.
Come on.
Let's get this over with.
And the whispers of greatness can be heard at every sunrise. Yet there are some people who say that what we're attempting to do can't be done. That you can't save a dying industry or reinvent a medium whose time has seemingly passed.
They believe that satellite and digital radio have already robbed us of our audience and that our best days are behind us. Well, I got news for you. These battle-tested microphones could tell 1,000 stories.
Battle-tested microphones.
Battle-tested? What? Battle-tested. Pudgy guys in flannel.
Eating donuts.
That's battle. Eating donuts. and hitting the cough button while they swallow. And then, all right, here's some Judas Priest.
And then doing a fugitive lead-in with plaque breath. Fucking old tartar breath.
Nice. Does he think he's giving the speech at the end of Independence Day?
Right.
This
was almost a year ago, about 11 months ago.
Well, he does quote a speech, which is inspirational.
Oh yeah, wait till you hear what he quotes.
No,
you're a movie fan. Let's see if you get it.
Oh, here we go.
All right,
get it.
All right.
Well, I got news for you. These battle-tested microphones could tell 1,000 stories, but none greater than the unwritten story about to be told. And I make you this promise on the 24th day of February 2014. I say to those people and others like them, you are wrong. And here's why. As I speak to you just after 6 a.m. on a typical Monday morning, somewhere out there is a mom who's been up all night with a sick kid.
Wait, what? 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 Are you fucking... Hang on. A mom is up, her kid has the croup, so what she's thinking at 6 a.m. is, I need a Journey 3-fer. But that's what I need right now. My kid is coughing up his lungs. I hope somebody can play Any Way You Want It, followed by Don't Stop Believin', followed by fucking
Let's go
Stone in Love.
Oh, Stone in Love. Good choice.
Stone in Love.
That would be the third.
That would be the third one. Jesus Christ. Keep playing more. Oh, God.
Gets me pumped.
Is there more? Or is that...
boy, is there.
Every morning we hear this.
Somewhere out there is a mom who's been up all night with a sick kid, or a dad who's coming home from his second job who just wants to take a minute to laugh with someone who feels like family. I believe they want to know that the people in this room feel what they feel, live what they live, and see what they see. And you can't do that in some windowless, colorless, passionless makeshift studio that used to be a coat closet. I, for one, don't believe that the people of the tri-state area want to listen to some dillweed who doesn't know the difference between a TV show and the real Jersey Shore.
Wait a minute! Hang on. So, wait, stop. By this guy's logic, somebody listening on the radio can tell the difference between so in his mind, a guy sitting in a studio in a radio station sounds different than a guy broadcasting from his class. It's a human voice. It doesn't matter.
I think he was taking a shot at like satellite radio because there's a lot of tiny little studios that are windowless and all that. But who gives a fuck?
No one cares what the size of the studio.
I know. It's not. If you're like, listen, if I order a hamburger, I want to know it was cooked in a kitchen where they painted the walls green and people were wearing 3-piece suits. I don't want it in some. It doesn't fucking matter.
And that you could see outside.
What is he talking about?
It has to have windows.
Like the guy is coming home from work going, hang on, I need to laugh for a second. This guy doesn't have a window. God damn it! Like he doesn't. Holy shit!
And then he wraps it up nice for you.
Okay, here we go.
I, for one, don't believe that the people of the tri-state area want to listen to some dillweed who doesn't know the difference between a TV show
Whoa, I can't believe they didn't believe that.
So to paraphrase a scene from one of my favorite movies, this is our opportunity to rise from the ashes and grab glory.
Fuck.
We are
New York.
We are
New Jersey.
We are
Long Island.
We are
Connecticut.
We are you. Turn off your Spotify, shut down your Pandora, and you can't be serious, XM.
Ooh.
New York's
boom! Body blow!
And that's why we hit back with nukes.
Oh my God, you can't be serious, XM?
Right.
It's literally the most uncomfortable thing I've heard in my entire life.
It really is. That is like,
wow.
What we read about Ian Watkins today was easier and more palatable than this is.
I'm literally.
He's quoting "We Are Marshall."
No, I know.
Okay,
And by the way, he's quoting a movie about a town that their team was killed
in the plane crash. Yeah.
And so he's equating.
He's just a radio host who should have been.
Yeah, he's a guy.
So how does it end? Is that it? We Are You, and that's it?
That's it.
No,
Yeah,
there's a
so-
tiny bit.
Let me hear, just quickly. Just to get to
Shut down your Pandora.
Oh, you don't have to.
And
All
you
right.
can't be serious, XM. Oof! New York's hometown radio station is back. It's time to show them how it's done.
So that was 10.5 months ago. And right after he played that, he did the same shitty radio show he has been doing. The only difference, Scott's out of the picture. He didn't reinvent anything. He didn't reinvent his show.
Didn't add a single new- no.
Absolutely nothing.
They play more music.
Well, I'm saying 10.5 months ago.
He didn't. You can't say he didn't add anything.
What?
Meatballs.
He did bring in meatballs.
He brought meatballs to the show.
Oh, well, hey, look, when I'm up all night with my daughter when she's sick, I'm like, please, God, I want to hear somebody eating meatballs.
No. Even
Pat.
better.
What?
The person's name was Meatballs.
No.
So after all that,
Out there.
after all that, he just went back to what everyone else has been doing and failing at, including himself. So then his ratings dropped drastically. Scott took off, showing that he wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
And now, as we sit here, and that's why we did Jocktober yesterday, they brought in this woman, Jade, to now help him out.
No, they brought in an... I
love this storyline.
Okay, here's what I hate about, you call them radio holes. When they bring in... It's so shitty to women to put them in the position... Because how many truly funny, ballsy, amazing... women that we know, Bonnie McFarlane, Amy Schumer.
Thank God